Good evening and welcome to another edition of Colorado football here in the Colorado Football Conference from Aurora Public Schools Stadium. I'm Sean Boyd, joined alongside by Hunter Fillmore. Good evening.
Good evening. How's it going?
It's going very well as the announcer gets the microphones check, 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 1, 2. We're live here on ColoradoSports.TV, and thank you for tuning in tonight for tonight's game, the matchup between the visiting Northern Colorado Nightmare versus the home team, Denver Sharks. The home team has decided to receive the first kick to open tonight's tilt. The visiting team, Nightmare, will be kicking off. To get things started, we have a little bit of an overcast. The clouds are starting to touch over here in the East Plains, but it looks like it's clear enough for us to get this game going and to play a full one tonight. So previewing really quick as we get tonight's matchup, I see my boy Slash in the building, shot him out. Yeah. Bringing the whole family out here, a legend. Come see his brother play. Okay. Starting for the Sharks tonight at quarterback is none other than Jawan Smoke McFly. And just to get things started, the Nightmare come into tonight's matchup undefeated. They have not lost a game yet. They are 3-0 in regular season and 2-0 in preseason. The Denver Sharks have taken a loss or so, but they still have a good record, and their last game coming off of a win versus the Eagles where they dominated from start to finish, and here we go. The kick is off, and it's received. It's a good one, and he's got room. He gets out to about the 50-yard line before he's brought down by the kicker, essentially. And to get things started, we have a good kick return, but he's already down to start tonight's matchup. Oh, no. And that can't be good. And as the trainer is going to take a look at him to get it right, we got to let the play continue. And we wish him back to good health as we get tonight's matchup started. The Denver Sharks are ready to ball. They got the call. And we're here for the game of the week in the Colorado Football Conference. Here we go. From the 47-yard line, already starting on the other side in good territory is the Denver Sharks. They come out sporting their all blue North Carolina blue uniforms with the Shark decals. And then the Northern Colorado, the NoCo Nightmare come out in all white, headlined by their big-time defensive end, Trent Fahrenbach. As I get the defense set for the Denver Sharks, for the Nightmare, their corner, and he is up on his feet after being tackled and brought out of bounds, the injured Shark, that is. We'll have his name here shortly once we can get a good visual of him and his jersey. Looks like it's number 10 for the Sharks. So as play resumes, when we get things started here, it's 1st and 10. Smoke has trips left. He gets it out to the flat, and he's hit hard.
We got Crowder starting early.
Crowder gets it going. Devontae Wheaton is our injured Shark. But Crowder gets a good jump on the screenplay and gets about a 15, 16-yard gain in the first down before he's hit with the hit stick and brought out of bounds. 1st and 10, and the Sharks are on the move. Smoke is still in the pistol formation. He hands it off to the running back, and he goes down. He's brought down on the play. Looks like he might need another version of those cleats, Mr. Damon Roberts, as he just gets slowed down in his tracks before he gets going. Brings us to 2nd and 9. Sharks come out in a little bit more traditional formation with 2 wide receivers to the right and the left, 1 running back. Smoke is in the pistol. And he swings it out to the wide receiver, 19, and he's not even looking. He wasn't looking for Grandma's good cooking. That's Jonte Gadsden. So that brings us to 3rd. And from where the mark is, it is about 11 yards. So we have 3rd and 11. Looks like the Northern Colorado Nightmare have a little bit of a crowd with them. Smoke just airmails it, and it's almost intercepted by number 2 of the defense. Jamie Adams. And that brings the Sharks to 4th down. They got started a little early there, Hunter, but now they're having to punt.
Yeah, it looks a little different than the start they had in their last game against the Eagles. McFly had some success in that game when he was throwing the ball, throwing it deep, and they started out with a couple short passes and 1 completion there and 1 run, but not much going.
Right. It was unfortunate for Smoke that he couldn't get much going on that drive there because it looked a little promising for them as they got into plus territory. But now let's see if they can play the field position game and back up the Nightmare and have them drive the length of the field. And we have a little bit of a stoppage in the play. And then we have a delay of game on the offense. Still 4th down, so that takes us to about 4 and 17 on the play.
I think that was intentional delay again to give the punter a little bit more space.
Just a little bit more space. I mean, and you do those things in moderation. I see another CFC OG in the building, Weldon Guillory. Guy's got a motor like a Chevy. And it's down at the 29-yard line. Not a good punt, but sufficient of a punt that it'll make them have to put together the Nightmare, that is, make them the proverbial team that has to put together a good drive in order to get down to their side to pay dirt. So the Northern Colorado Nightmare will start from about the 30-yard line. The head official for tonight is Alan Bryant. Line judge is umpire is Shannon Hartman. Head line judge is Doug Ramirez. Other line judge is Keith Clemens. Back judge is Jerry Haynes. And also Patrick Mulstay and David Trimble. First play out the gates. They go deep is the Nightmare. And it's
almost an interception. We got the heat coming from.
And the heat is coming from the Northern Colorado's outside pressure. The defensive ends of the defensive ends of the Denver Sharks are getting penetration right down and out on the edges and putting pressure on that starting QB. Matt Keelan comes out with his wide receiver, number 3, Anthony Rakin, wide receiver Q Styles. The other wide receiver is Anthony Casper. And it's a handoff that goes to Eric Foxworth. But the Denver Sharks defense, number 33, is in the middle letting everybody know that he's here to eat lunch. And it's dinner time. Break the forks and knives out and let the big dog eat. Says number 33, Tyler Brown. And Tyler Brown, look uncharacteristically, he's not looking as big as I usually am accustomed to. Guy's kind of slendered up a little bit. He's been on that Nutri diet. Nutri-Slim diet. Keeling back to pass. He's looking. He's got a guy. And it's a completion. It's a completion to Anthony Rankin. getting things started. Anthony Rakin is a CFC pro, been around for quite some time, battled against him to supremacy to see who the best wide receiver is. And I'll let him tell it for himself. He's still playing, and I'm up here in the booth giving you folks this beautiful call here on ColoradoSports.TV. Brings us to 1st and 10 from right around the 50-yard line, or right around the 42-yard line. He hands it off to Foxworth. Foxworth gets what he can before he is swallowed up by that Sharks defense led by Riley and RC, Four Deuce, RC, and Xavier Galligan. Those guys are putting that pain in the middle. And this is all anchored by number 42, the middle linebacker, the guy getting it all done. And, again, that's RC, Ryan Collins. Guy's a beast. Got a lot of dog in his blood. He's also out there with number 40. Still no score in the game. And we have an offsides penalty. The first penalty of the game is going to go to the Denver Sharks. Talking to head coach of the Northern Colorado Nightmare, Scott Culligan, I asked him some keys to the game, and he gave me a brief stint. He said, you know what, both teams obviously do not want to be the team that makes the mistakes and has the penalties. So they're both looking to see which team can minimize the mistakes and penalties, and that team will be the team who's victorious today.
Yeah, you're always talking about discipline with football, and you want to be disciplined, and that's the team that's going to win most of the time that's more disciplined.
Absolutely, Hunter. 1st and 15, 2nd and 15. Keeling back to pass. He's looking right. He's got room. And he just gets what he can before he's blasted and sent out of bounds by the Sharks. And they're going to get the first down and some, as the Sharks have uncharacteristically themselves started to get into the penalty war. And we're going to see who can sustain to this evening. Now, if you're the Sharks, Hunter, you're looking at your defense and saying, "Hey guys, we had them backed up. Let's play poised."
Yeah, you do. It's a little bit of different defense that they're going to have to play compared to that game when they played the Eagles. This team looks like they can pass more than the Nightmare looks like they can pass a little bit better than those Eagles could.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
They're going to have to change their scheme up a little bit.
Well, you are getting a more polished team in the Northern Colorado Nightmare. I can promise you that. These guys are like a bunch of Tim Duncans out there. There's a lot of fundamentals about to happen for them. First and 10 after they cross the 50. He hands it off to Foxworth. He bounces it right. He's got all types of space before he's brought down after a nice 10-yard gain. He's led by Don Acciato as the center, number 77. Mike Linton, guard, number 63. Andrew Hins at the tackle for the right tackle. And our left guard is Alonzo Archuleta, number 62. And number 73 is Anthony Acciato, the brother or the young son of Don Acciato. These dudes, the father and son tandem, you never heard of that anywhere else, folks, but you'll see it here in the CFC, and this is what you love. 1st and 10 for the Northern Colorado Nightmare. Keeling's back to pass. He's got a guy in the flats. He gets it to him, but he's swallowed up for no gain, and actually he loses a yard on the play as the Denver Sharks makes a play. Number 36 of the Denver Sharks. That's DeMario Hawkins with the great tackle, securing the guy behind the line of scrimmage and bringing him down for a 1-yard loss. 2nd and 10. He hands it off up the middle. Foxworth gets 4 yards before he's brought down and just forces his way for a nice gain. And RC is the guy in the middle making the tackle, doing what he does. And here we go. The Northern Colorado Nightmare just imposing their will on the Denver Sharks.
Yeah, it looks like they're more balanced of a team. They have a little bit of run or a little bit of pass. You've been around the league a little bit more. Would you like to
Absolutely.
explain how they play?
So, I mean, as I look at the Northern Colorado Nightmare, man, they've been around for a few years, and in their existence, I've played them in a couple of championships. Obviously, we came out victorious in those, so I got a better story than most. But, you know, I can tell you this team is going to come with their hard hat and their lunch pail, and they're going to come prepared to hit you in the mouth for 4 quarters. In fact, a guy by the name of Dakota Boyd is the guy that I've ran up against playing against the Northern Colorado Nightmare. He's the only guy that I know to scratch up my visor. I had a really clean visor that I bought from Canada. It was sent down from Canada. It was like a purple mirror visor, and I thought I was real clean until I ran into Dakota Boyd. I went out to block him on a run play, and basically he got his pads lower than me and showed me that he's been in the weight room.
Yeah.
And with that being said, he hit me good one time, and I had to get him back, and I'll let him tell you the story of how I smashed him back. But with that being said, here it is, 3rd and 3. A little bit, and he almost makes the catch.
Once again,
But DeMario Hawkins was a little bit early,
pass, NoCo.
and they're going to get the break. NoCo is going to get the break here, and they're going to get a first down. And they're calling that a pass interference and a first down for the Denver Sharks. The break continues just for the moment. So happened that it bounced their way. We have 1st and goal for the NoCo Nightmare. Here we go. Keeling's under center. And then we got Acciato jumping off sides. That's a false start. Should push them back. So now we have a first and 15. Sharks defense has got the Nightmare offensive line overthinking a little bit, just making sure that they can protect Keeling, give him the time that he needs to complete a pass to one of these dynamic wide receivers. Anthony Rankin, he's in there. He's been around for quite some time, and the guy's a flat-out baller. He hands it off to Foxworth, but he's swallowed up behind the line. And number 41 of the Denver Sharks is right there in the mix making a play. And that's Garrett Lanham making a big-time stop for the Sharks. Still no score here. 6 minutes and 27 seconds left in the first quarter. Aurora Public School Stadium is the site for tonight's matchup. Nightmare come out. Four wide receiver set. Keelan gets out to Anthony Rankin in the flats. He makes a move and a juke, and then he's just brought down after about a 4 or 5 yard gain. That's not going to be enough as the Sharks swaddle to him and bring him down by committee. If you're the Nightmare, obviously, you know, the run has been very good to you. It's been lucrative for about a 4 or 5 yard gain. At this point, you need more than just 4 or 5 yards in order to get what you're looking for. So I would assume a pass play, obviously, is the captain inevitable here, captain obvious, but we'll see what the Nightmare have up their sleeve. 3rd and goal. And he hits him hard and slams him to the ground. Oh, my. number 3 of the Denver Sharks lays Keeling on his back ever so hardly and lets him know, I'm here, baby. And they're going to call that one incomplete. You know, I got a chance to speak with the head referee of tonight's matchup, and, you know, he explained some things to me. And I think us as players, we should be a lot more mindful of the process that these referees go through. They go through an evaluation after the game is over. They look at any and all calls that were maybe even marginal at best to get the proper training. And believe it or not, the last call that they did between the Sharks and Greyhawks, this crew, they went 95%. So, for that being said, folks, I had to get me some seasoning because he told me, hey, I heard you on the last call between the Greyhawks and Sharks. I want to correct a couple of things that you were saying up there. So I said, well, enlighten me, big dog. Let me know. So he gave me the good knowledge. And as you hear, the Sharks are trying to pump it up as their defense is in territory. It's 4th and 10. And they give yards back by jumping off sides. And so the referees need to get together here. And it's going to go as an encroachment against the defense. And if the Sharks are looking for any breaks, they're not helping themselves out at any cost. They got to tighten it up, get a screwdriver real fast. Shout-outs to Doc Holliday down there on the field for the Denver Sharks. Good man in the community, plus he be frying that fish up. At least that's what I've been told around the way. Sharks crowd is getting the defensive chant going. Keeling rolls right. He's got a man in the end zone, and it's to nobody. And we've got a turnover on downs. Ball goes to the home team. Denver Sharks get the stop. Tell me, Hunter. Talk to me. Tell me something, baby.
And, I mean, that's a big stop for the Sharks there. And the nightmare that just kind of deflates them a little bit, gets all that momentum that they had moving down the field. They drove from the other side of the field, other side of the 50 all the way down the field, and it's a little deflating to get to that goal line
and get nothing out of it. So with 0 points, and still we have a score of 0-0 with 4 minutes and 49 seconds left in the first quarter, the Sharks take over from the 5-yard line. They're deep in their own territory as the Nightmare come out in a 4-3. Smoke hands it off, and Dakota Boyd is in the backfield making a play. The guy with a lot of thunder is in the backfield saying, hold on, like Ray J's song back in the day. Oh, wait a minute. And Dakota Boyd is the rover, a.k.a. strong safety. And we're waiting for the clock to run. And the clock is on. And the Nightmare get to the running back first, number 31 of the Nightmare getting his flex on. And that's Donovan Suman with Trent Fehrenbrook. Make sure, and Trent, I apologize when you watch this back. Don't message me in my DMs being mad at me. Talk to me nice. Send me some flowers, okay? Thank you. And also, Quentin McCoy is number 33, the other linebacker for the Northern Colorado Nightmare. It's 3rd and 11 for Juwan McFly. He drops back to pass. He's looking left. Oh, he smashed. Whoa. What a hit by number 31, Donovan Suman
Good tackle on the play. NoCo.
of Northern Colorado Nightmare. Donovan, I'm going to sue you, man. Holy moly. And that was a bone-shattering hit that you could feel it from here. Juwan McFly is looking for the Mack truck that hit him. He's asking if anybody got the license plates. I think I got a picture of it, Smoke. Brings us to 4th down and 11. Still no score. 2 minutes and 58 seconds left. And the punt just finally gets off, and it's a beauty. It's a good punt. He's got all types of room. He makes a move. And he's brought down after about a 4-yard return. What a great punt. What an even better tackle by number 22 of the Denver Sharks. Devontae Johnson on the coverage. Well-covered kid. So the Nightmare will take over the ball after the sack and punt. Ball's out to about the 45-yard line. And the Sharks are already playing with hot water, yet here again. Number 17 of the Denver Sharks is in playing corner. And then we have a personal foul penalty. Oh, wow. So because of the penalties by both teams, we have offsetting penalties, and we have a redo on 4th down. So we are going to punt this one over and do it all over again, folks.
With the Sharks being backed up like that, it was a little reminiscent of the last game that we watched with them and the Eagles. And they had 2 really long passes that they completed for a touchdown, so it was a little reminiscent of that.
Yeah, you would have thought that they would have been able to complete some of that same magic from last week, but or from the week prior. Here it is. You know, that bye week, it takes a toll because you don't know how many practices these guys were able to get in during that time frame. And so, you know, we'll see which team is more polished. He gets off another punt. It's not as long, and it doesn't go as far. But it gets down to about the 36 or 7-yard line. And as I stated, number 17, Michael Richardson, usually as a wide receiver / punt returner, is now in at defensive back. And that's just one of a few substitutions that I've seen here for the Denver Sharks. So we'll keep you folks updated on those as they come. First and 10 for the Nightmare. Keeling hands it off, but his running back is swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. And he gets nothing on that play.
NoCo will be looking to do something different.
And that Sharks D has a lot of big-time veterans up front, guys that have been there before. Xavier Galligan, my man, my brother, tried to plug me in a couple of weeks ago. Didn't go right, but that's all right. We'll get it another day. Talk about it. Oh, gosh, Keeling's underneath pressure, and he's sacked. Brought down on the play by Uncampos. And RC is out there letting everybody know as he flexes and does his thing. Oh, Hacksaw Jim Duggan sack. Whoa. seems to think if the pass was thrown, he was going to be able to make an interception and go the other way with it after he just posted on Facebook he's 230. Woo! What has he been eating? Nothing but T-bones. Been going out to eat with RC, 4 Deuce. That guy looks like he can eat a mountain too. So 3rd and a country mile for the Northern Colorado Nightmare as Keelan rolls right. He's got a man open, but he just throws it square into the dirt. Their go-to play, and that's an incomplete pass. And we're going to bring up a 4th down for the Nightmare. And that was a quick 3 and out for the Nightmare. Don't you say, Hunter?
That was really quick. Good work by the Sharks. They're getting another stop.
Oh, indeed.
That
Sharks.
only helps your offense.
Shout outs to the D coordinator of them, right? Of the Sharks for getting them in. Because, listen, this could have went 2 ways for the Sharks. They could have really buckled right here and gave up a touchdown, but they stuck their cleats in the dirt, and here they go, man. Now they're receiving a punt. And it was a weird type of a punt by number 2, Jamie Adams, the Nightmare, but he just gets what he can. Juwan McFly comes back out with his troops, ready to get into the end zone and see if they can establish a little bit something better. I tell you right now, one thing that I know being around this league, a guy like number 1, Greer, can't go too long without seeing a pass. Him and Crowder together, these 2 guys are unstoppable when it comes to wide receiver play. Greer's a technician, a big body wide receiver, makes all types of rangy catches. Been doing that for quite some time now. And we got a timeout by the Denver Sharks. So with 31 seconds left here in the first quarter, we're going to take our first break and step aside. We'll be right back here on ColoradoSports.TV. And we are back here on ColoradoSports.TV from Aurora Public Schools Stadium. It's CFC football Saturday night here in Aurora, Colorado. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Sean Boyd, joined alongside Hunter Fillmore. And we are here for the Denver Sharks and the Northern Colorado Nightmare. It's a big-time game in the CFC. Somebody's got to lose, and somebody's got to win, and you know that. Smoke is back to pass, gets it out to Crowder, gets it to one of his wide receivers. He makes a big-time play. They can't stop him, so he just goes out of bounds. Too much man. Good pass by Juwan McFly just to get some repetition going, get some continuity going, get something established for his team, his offense. Don't you say, Hunter?
Yeah, it seems like Crowder is his go-to receiver most of the time.
And a big-time stop. Guys in the middle, Suman is right there letting them know it ain't going to be easy today. 5 seconds and counting here in the first quarter, no score. And that's the end of the first. And again, there is no score here at Aurora Public Schools Stadium between the Denver Sharks and the Northern Colorado Nightmare. We're going to take another break, and we'll be right back in just a few moments. Thank you for tuning in to ColoradoSports.TV for the matchup between the Denver Sharks and the Northern Colorado Nightmare. We're back. Beginning of the second quarter. Still score 0-0. Had a little bit of a defensive struggle by both teams, or offensive struggle by both teams, as the defenses have not given up much. It's been real stingy out here. It's like the Grinch that stole the summer. Smoke checks. 2 wide receivers to the right and the left. He's looking left. He's got a man right down the pipe, and he gets it to him. What a catch. What a catch for Andrew Maynard. And you know what? Maynard had a big-time catch and score in the last game. And he seems to be one of the big-time guys I'm leaving out when I talk about this offense.
Yeah, he seems like that deep threat that they can throw to.
So you have 3 guys that can get the ball between Crowder, Greer, and Maynard. And now that they've gotten a little something cooking, look out as the Sharks are on the move. Baby.
This is the first time that either team's been on. Well, it's the third time that either team's been on the other side of the 50. The Sharks. This is their first time losing.
Oh, I know, and it's like I said, it's been been an offensive struggle for both sides. Smoke fakes the handoff, and he's got Big Greer. Oh, and it's picked off. And here we go, the Nightmare get going, and he's down the sideline. Nobody can catch him. 30, 20, 10, touchdown. Nightmare, number 26. Matt Olson on the play takes it the distance. Greer got his mitts on it, but it was jarred out of his hands. And there's no dirty laundry. Wait, we might not have the touchdown, folks. Here we go. Let's wait for the call. The play stands as a touchdown. The Nightmare faithful let you know. And so the Sharks end up with a sideline warning as they were told to get back after the turnover. Referee couldn't make his way down the field in order to keep up with Matt Olson as he took it the distance, held it up on him and let him know, I'm fitting to score. Timmy, I want to score more for 6. And that cracks open the score in the game. And now all of a sudden you start to wonder, Hunter, is the physicality that the Nightmare are playing with getting to the Sharks at all?
I wouldn't say necessarily the physicality, but they are struggling on offense, it looks like. That wasn't McFly's fault. He had the receiver. He hit the receiver. It was just tipped up, so that was an unfortunate play that ended up going in the way of the Nightmare.
Right. Well, but the point I'm looking to lament here is that every time you see one of the Sharks touching the ball, it's one of these Nightmare defenders that are trying to lay a big hit at that. So, I mean, now when you start to see tip balls and you start to see, the quarterbacks getting hit by both sides, it's not just the Sharks getting pressured either. They're getting pressure on the Nightmare. It just so happened that this one was the wrong turnover for the Sharks and went the other way for 6. And now that the field goal was up and good, now we have 7-0. Nightmare, the visiting team, are up. And I don't know if that's gonna change the face of the game, but ooh-wee. Some of that Cali, ooh-wee. Because all of a sudden the guard has changed a little bit. And the Sharks are looking like they may be a little depleted for a second. Let's see how they respond, because that's a true mark of a champion, as they are the defending champions of the CFC. And, folks, if you are still tuned in to us, we appreciate you for tuning in to ColoradoSports.TV for the Colorado Football Conference Game of the Week. It is the Northern Colorado Nightmare and the home team, your team, the Denver Sharks. Sharks were on the move before the turnover. It ended up being a turnover right around the 3 or 4 yard line in which Matt Olson, the safety, 26, took it the distance. And it's taken by number 17 of the Sharks. He gets a few yards before he's brought down on the play. That's Michael Richardson getting it out to about the 38-yard line. Good little sufficient run there by the fast guy, Michael Richards. And so the defense of the Nightmare takes the field again, anchored by Trent Fahrenbrook. One of the Nightmare faithful is here to help me get it right, and I appreciate him. And you hear that Nightmare faithful is out there getting the defense pumped up. But McFly hands it off, and his man got space and gets about 9 yards. There we go. That's a good run. Number 4 of the Denver Sharks. Let me get it right, get his name. And it's almost a first, but it's not a first. We don't have number 4 on the roster here. We apologize. Oh, we do. Cornelius Sanders.
And it looks like at the end of that play, number 24,
Dakota Boyd
got injured on the play.
Oh, no. We wish him back to speedy recovery as well. See if he can get back into this game. Smoke's got 2 wide receivers to the right and the left. He sees Greer once again, but it's a little too high. And then you start to wonder if the wide receiver and the quarterback are on the same page. And it's 2nd and 1. You would think they were running right there instead of maybe going for a pass.
Yeah, after having such a big run.
The play before. Stick with it, coach. You know, give your offensive line a little bit of a rhythm. Give your guy 8, 9 yards hard. Pause. 2 wide receivers down at the bottom with Greer. And there he goes. He gets the first down and just surges forward, rumbles his way through, gets what he can before he's brought down. That's number 40 of the Denver Sharks with the hard yards. Or number 48. I apologize. DeHeaven. Domina. DeHeaven. He's DeHeaven, but D. So DeHeaven. Here we go. 1st and 10 for the Denver Sharks. 11 minutes and 46 seconds here in the 2nd quarter. Smoke is back to pass with all types of pressure. Gets it to his running back. He makes a move. But he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Number 4 receives the relief, but the Northern Colorado Nightmare defense is all over that play. Wearing Cornelius Sanders like a cheap sweater. And so we have 2nd and 13. Smoke hands it off again. Cornelius Sanders gets swallowed up by that Nightmare defense. They're wearing all white, but they're showing a lot of black heads, that is, black helmets right to the ball, swarming, bringing that guy down. A lot of black hats right all over the ball. This Nightmare defense is really stout. Smoke drops back to pass. He gets protection, gets it to Greer. Here we go. And that's a first down. Travis Greer. And he needed that. And once they get him going, look out. Smoke has two guys on the outside and a slot in the middle. And Maynard, he's got a three-headed horse. He drops back to pass, gets it out to Crowder. Crowder makes a couple guys miss and turns it up, and he's still loose. And Crowder gets a first down after about a 28-yard gain. Really? Testing. Oh, it's not up. It was on just a minute ago. Testing. 1, 2. I'm not sure. It's testing.
It just doesn't look like there's any power. Do you know how to work the?
Barely. Like, I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. And Travis Greer with the touchdown.
And that will be a touchdown from Smoke to TD Travis Greer. I said, let's see if they can't get him going.
Testing.
He tested that he's going. That's it.
Testing. Oh, no. That's not good.
I just missed that. That's not good for me.
You missed a touchdown? Oh, snap. Hey, don't even trip. We'll get that. We'll get that once we'll worry about that in just a second. You just stay with the play. I don't know, bro. Did I hit the wrong one? Okay. Testing. It's creeping stupid low. Testing. Yeah, there we go. Testing. We're good. Here we go. Let's go back to work. Folks, we apologize as we had a little bit of technical difficulties here in the booth. That's what happens when I burn it down. And I spit so much hot lava over the airwaves that all of a sudden the wires start getting shorted out and things of that nature start to happen. But we're okay. We're back. And to recap really quick, Travis Greer. Uh-oh, we're peeking back out again. No. What did we do?
I didn't do anything.
Testing. Hello. I'm gonna keep talking as if I'm still being picked up, and looks like we're being picked up here. So the vocals are hot, and we're live again. But before what ended up happening before we're gonna go any further, before the action gets back, Travis Greer had a big time catch and score that was huge because he got a catch in the back of the end zone as Smoke McFly made a very big time play to extend the play, and then he got He's got enough room and space for him to be able to find a guy in the back of the end zone. And Trav, when you watch this film, we apologize, G. We were trying to get the vocals right, and we missed your touchdown, but that's okay, though. And here we go. And the Nightmare take the kick and get out to about the 38-yard line before he is brought down on the play. Folks, we apologize for the... Yeah, we've been having a little bit of an issue with the feed here, but I think we might be okay. God's willing, we'll be able to still make this happen. Yeah, we're good to go. We're going to keep it. The vocals are popping, and so we're moving. 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line is the Nightmare. Keeling back to pass. He looks left. And this guy dodges a tackle, makes a few guys miss, and now we've got a game here, folks, as it's starting to pick up and cook. After the 20-yard catch and run, and we still have a little bit of laundry to sort out, and that's a roughing the passer that's going to go against the Sharks, biting them in the butt. Excuse me.
Penalties against the Denver Sharks.
And that's a penalty they're not going to like. Head coach Sandman is not going to like that. And so the defense of the Sharks has got their backs pinned against the wall as they're already in plus territory after one play as the Nightmare after the 20-yard catch and run, and then the penalty assessed after that for the roughing the passer. And the Sharks are right there laying a big boom on Foxworth as he just gets about 2 to 3 yards on the play. Sharks defense is showing a little bit of grit. Showing those proverbial shark teeth. You know, they got rows of those. Keeling's back to pass. He looks right. He's seeing pressure. And the Sharks are right there to swallow him up, and he's brought down by RC for Deuce. And he does his dance. Lets the ladies know, and they love it. They celebrate for him. Fat Daddy with the belly says, I can still stroke it. And it's 3rd and 10. We are tied here, 7-7, 6 minutes and 25 seconds and counting in the second quarter. And we're cooking for fish grease here at Aurora Public School Stadium as number 28 of the Nightmare breaks it right up the middle, gets about 3 to 4 yards before he's stopped on the play.
Minimum yards, NoCo, 4th down.
And now it's 4th down on the play for the Nightmare. Will they go for it, Hunter?
Looks like they're lining up to go for it.
Well, here we go. Question answered. Wide receivers to the right and the left. Anthony raking down at the bottom. Keeling's back to pass. He sees Anthony. He throws it out to him, and that's a 1st down, folks. Move the chains.
Quick pass complete.
And now with 5 minutes and counting in the second quarter,
1st down, NoCo.
Nightmare are on the run, and they're saying, you know what, we're going to line up and go. He gives it. Running back. No, I don't have his name.
Running up the
Second and 7 for the Nightmare. Got the Sharks leaning a little bit. They're like a levee getting ready to break. They're holding on for dear life on defense. Xavier's crowding the line of scrimmage. He's got a free shot at Keeling, and he's got him and brought him down. Sharks defense gets to him with that pressure. Woo! Tyler Brown.
Tigers and Bears, oh my, multiple defenders.
They're all over the place, and that's what the Sharks needed.
No answers.
It just seems like that Sharks defensive line has been getting a lot of push on that offensive line and getting back in the backfield.
Absolutely, and with that being said, now that brings us to third and a country mile for the Nightmare. Speaking of number 28, that's Baskin Autry. And here we go.
Third and about 16. Let's see what he does with it.
Keeling draws back the pass. He's got a guy. He's there. Oh, and it's broken up by the Sharks. That was good defense by the Sharks defensive backs. Number 21 and number 7 of the Denver Sharks. Number 7 is Jordan Power Ranger Williams. I wonder what makes him a Power Ranger. I'll leave that for later. You can answer that question later, folks. If you're his family and you know him well, you know he means well. Him and Marcus Crowder were out there playing a little bit of defense, but I know Marcus Crowder doesn't play defense, though, so I'm going to get that right. Maybe the Sharks got 2 number 21s. No, I stand corrected, folks. That's number 31 for the Sharks.
4th and 17, and they're going for it.
So it's 4th and 17. The Nightmares show no mercy. They're going for it. They're in plus territory. They're not punting. And the Sharks do what they do best, and that's jump off sides when it matters most. Got to get those penalties riled in, Hunter.
Yeah, they've gotten him a couple times with that hard count.
The hard count is seeming to work because they take it every time. And it's almost stifling their defense because they're on such a roll. They're ready to go. They're making plays.
Yeah, their defensive line's getting the push.
Yeah.
Putting pressure on the quarterback.
That's a
their
fact.
defensive backs are getting the stops that they need.
That's a fact.
Covering the receivers. It's hard when they don't.
Well, folks, this one is going to prove that it may snow, but there is a rainbow hanging over the Aurora Public Schools sign, and you got to love that over in the distance. So maybe we can find our pot of gold, but the Sharks just found their pot of gold because the penalty went against the Nightmare for once. And so with that being said, the Nightmare are pushed back, and it's 4th and about 40, but it's actually only 4th and 25. And so with that being said, they're going to punt the ball. It's going to be a short squib kick, I'm assuming, that they're going to get to number 12 of the Sharks. Used to be with the Rage for a long time. Before now, he's up here. Mr. Tyrell Bama Strickland played some football against him before in a couple of championship games, in which I'll let him tell the story on how that ended. With that being said, 2 minutes and 22 seconds left here in the second quarter. Score still stands 7-7 between the Northern Colorado Nightmare and the home team Denver Sharks. Smoke is back out on the field for his 4th drive of the game. Greer, after making the last touchdown on the last drive, is down at the bottom of the screen, matched up with number 1 of the Nightmare. Smoke gets it out to Crowder, but it's down in the dirt.
Quick, incomplete pass by the Sharks.
And so that pass goes incomplete. Hardly but 3 seconds off of the clock, still tied to 7-7.
Yeah, and that was the same play call as they started with the game. That little screen on that side didn't work out for him that time.
You know, you can only go back to the same wishing well just only but a few times before the other team is going to make the adjustments and see what you got coming. So here we go. 2nd and 10. Sharks come out in the trips right formation. 1 running back, Greer down at the bottom by himself. And he goes to him, and it's picked off and going the other way. Greer wasn't looking at all. And Smoke threw it right to him. And number one of the Nightmare took it the other way. And I seen it coming a mile away as Smoke released the Greer was getting upfield. And Octavius Styles says, watch me score in style. The man from Albany, Georgia, just took it the distance. And now the score sits at 13-7. What a play by Mr. Styles of the Nightmare.
Two mistakes by the Sharks offense is what has the NoCo Nightmare in the game right now.
And now another turnover has the Sharks with their hands in the air wondering, where do we go from here? Now, I hate to bring this up in stats, but these are facts. That's 2 pick sixes by Juwan McFly, and that's pretty much the breakdown in the game. The Nightmare haven't scored any other way, Hunter.
Yeah, it seems like he hasn't had good communication with his receivers. It seems like they've been a little off page of each other, and they haven't been able to connect for the passes because they've been off page and they haven't been running the routes that each other thinks.
Oh man, and those those two passes have, and the kick is up and it's no good. So we stand at 13-7. Denver Sharks are trailing the Nightmare yet again. I apologize, as I'm not in the. I don't have my mic to my face. That's probably why you don't hear me that well. I'm bugging out up here. I got to eat the mic in order for you to get me. Got me? Good. Let's roll. 13-7 as the Nightmare lead the Denver Sharks. The rainbow is still in the distance. I'm feeling good. My pot of gold's coming. I ate some Lucky Charms for breakfast this morning. How about you? Actually, I had Lucky Charms with Fruit Loops, so it's like a combination of Lucky Charms and Fruit Loops mixed together. I don't really eat a lot of sugar cereals, but that one right there is one of a kind. I'm kind of a Frosted Mini Wheats type of guy myself, to be honest. Blueberry. And the quarterback is going to make the kick, and he gets it down. Woo! And number 0 gets the return, Denver Sharks. And he flexes a little bit and lets number 26, Olsen, know that, hey, you may have laid a little bit of pop, but I'm Chance Chambers Walker, the guy with 2 last names. You can't phase me. So the Sharks take over around the 41-yard line. And let's see what they do with 1 minute and 49 seconds left. Do they just go ahead and run the clock out and get to the halftime, or do they try to even this up at 14 apiece? Good-sized crowd here for tonight's matchup. People here cheering on their teams. Mixture of NoCo, mixture of Denver Sharks fans. Smoke gets the low snap. He's looking left. He's looking at Greer. And it just beats off his hands. We're not for sure what happened on that play, but I'm pretty sure that isn't what they intended. Greer's looking a little discombobulated after that last interception in pick 6. I almost think the psyche of the Sharks is at stake here, as they've played a pretty decent game, and yet they still find themselves trailing in this game.
Yeah, like you said before, the only things that are holding them back are those 2 pick sixes that have the Northern Colorado Nightmare in the game.
Yeah, I don't get it. All right, Smoke is back to pass. He's got heat all over the place, and he still completes it. And the clock continues to run. 1 minute and 36 seconds and counting. Number 19 of the Sharks still makes a play after taking the hit stick from one of the Nightmare. He still gets a nice gain on the play. Not enough for a first down, but to keep the drive alive nonetheless. And that's Jonte Gadsden. Smoke back to pass. He has Gadsden again, and he completes it. Gadsden, the little guy, gets a first down, and the clock stops. Good pass by Juwan McFly. Shout outs to my boy Chops for showing up. Ain't seen him in a few. Always lets me into to cracking clubs. He's down there holding it down. Being security, letting the real ones in. Nothing less. So we have a timeout with just a little bit under a minute in change here in the second quarter. The first half comes to an end with the Sharks with the ball driving, and they are in plus territory already. Two good plays from Juwan McFly, looking for somebody else in his offense, and who would have thunk it? Now he has a fourth wide receiver that we weren't even mentioning before in Gadsden, and he's coming up big.
Yeah, Gadsden had those back-to-back catches, and it looks like he's coming on now as the receiver who McFly is looking for.
Oh, yeah, and as he should. 1st and 10. McFly is in the shotgun. He drops back to pass. He just gets it out, barely. Gadsden cuts it up, but he doesn't get out of bounds. And the clock continues to roll. And so we have another timeout by the Sharks. So with this little brief timeout, we'll take a step away for just a moment, pay a few sponsors, and we'll be right back after this break. And we're back. Smoke is in the shotgun. He looks right. He's going left. He's got Crowder deep. Crowder. Oh, he gets smoked. Leveled. And he's still on the ground. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Matt Olson, you've been all over the field making play after play after play. And that was a big-time hit by Matt Olson. Holy moly. He waited. He did not come early. He let the guy make a catch, and because he brought it in with his body, it was jarred away right away.
Yeah, that nightmare defense has just been hit after hit.
They've been hitting all over the place today, man. They need a physical game, and I can't wait for the clash between them and the Colorado Greyhawks because this is a man's game. And, and I know Crowder's a man. He's been playing like a man all season long. And you can never keep a true soldier down. Holy moly, but he's back up on his feet, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. And he's trying to catch his breath. He's trying to catch himself. It's a little rocky out there. Let's see who they get to replace him. But Crowder, like I said, I've watched him in a few games that we've gotten a chance to call. He's been one of the shining stars for the Denver Sharks, and we just hope that he bounces back from this right away and gets back out there and maybe gives Matt Olson a little bit of his own medicine by hitting him with the chip dip. Hit him with the chip dip. Let's see. So subbing in is number 4. For the Denver Sharks. Still 42 seconds left. Juwan's back to pass. He's looking right, looking left. He's found a guy and air mails it right to the defense. And he's got space. Oh, wow. What a play by number 1 of the Nightmare, Octavius Styles. And so the Northern Colorado Nightmare take it away from the Denver Sharks yet again, stop the drive by the Denver Sharks, and our score is at 7-13 with 25 seconds left. The Nightmare take over at the 50-yard line, lined up on the left hash. Holy moly, folks. The turnovers are starting to mound up, and I'm just wondering how many more will it take before the backs break of the Denver Sharks. And the Nightmare kneeling just to get out of this half. And again, we still have our score. It's the Denver Sharks 7 and the Northern Colorado Nightmare sitting at 13 as the half begins. And we will be back for the second half here from Aurora Public School Stadium after the halftime break. Thank you, folks. And folks, welcome back to ColoradoSports.TV for the matchup, the second half of the big-time fight between the Denver Sharks and the visiting Northern Colorado Nightmare. It's been a little bit of a tussle between both teams to get things figured out and primed, but both teams are having a little bit of an offensive struggle. The defenses have made a lot of the plays for both the teams in the first half of this game. The Nightmare have had 2 pick sixes. They have 3 turnovers altogether. And the Sharks, they don't have necessarily any turnovers, but they still do have 7 points. They've managed to get some big-time plays from the wide receivers. Travis Greer has the only lone touchdown of the first half by the Sharks from Juwan McFly, and you just cut something, so that might have been what we needed. No? It's just to shorten the cord. Well, there's another headset here. Testing. One, try yours.
Is it my mic? There's nothing on my mic at all either.
Well, I can see little bits and pieces I keep popping. So we'll get the mic there. It keeps popping on the vocal, but I don't know if we're here yet, but we'll keep testing before we actually get back to the action. Testing. 1, 2, testing. I'm talking into the mic, that one, buddy. Yo. Thank you for tuning in. ColoradoSports.TV. I guarantee it's that box. Testing. 1, 2. Testing. A little higher. I hear myself big time, but I don't have any. Testing. Hello. And welcome to the Colorado Football Conference for tonight's matchup between the Denver Sharks and the Northern Colorado Nightmare. After the brief intermission, we have a score of 7-13. The tale of the tape is that from the first half is the Nightmare have intercepted Juwan McFly 3 times 2 of them have gone for scores. The extra point was no good by the Nightmare. The Sharks ended up with a big-time score from Jawan McFly and Travis Greer, and that brings us to our score of 7-13 as we start off the second half of this game. And here we go from Aurora, Colorado. The ball bounces into the end zone, but it's picked up and ready to go. Oh, they're letting it go. You know, a lot of the times I got the chance to talk with the White Hat before the game, and he explained some things to me. And again, for you players listening, I want you guys to know these referees go under fire, and they go through the tutelage, and they learn from their mistakes. That's the beauty of being a referee in the CFC or being a player in the CFC. You get the comfort of knowing that the referees are being graded. The last game that this crew here, more importantly, did, they had a 95% on their grade out. Now, I don't know if he was, shining up those numbers for shiny suits or whatever, but I kind of believe him, right? So, with that being said, the Nightmare get the ball to start off the second half, and they're pinned deep in their own territory. Coming out on the 15-yard line, deep on the right hash, they come out in a traditional 3-wide formation. Sharks make their adjustments. Xavier Galligan is crowding the line of scrimmage early. And they hand it off to Foxworth, but he's brought down right on the play by the Sharks, giving them no room. And there's no gain on the play. And we got to get the sticks. You got to get the field markers down there in place. Because it's second and we don't know yet. First and 10, or second and 10 for the Nightmare. And the lights get turned on here at Aurora Public School Stadium. It's lit. Keeling drops back to pass. He's got a man wide open, but it's picked off by the Sharks. Finally, the Sharks get a big-time play, and he's letting everybody know that he's made the turnover. And that's what you like to see if you're a Denver Shark. You see your guys getting a turnover, starting things off the right way. Camaraderie is definitely needed to keep things going if you're the Denver Sharks. And here we go. Jawan McFly ready to possibly take the lead in this game. Oh, folks, hold on to your seats. This game is getting good. And the Northern Colorado Nightmare fans come out with those cowbells, as they usually do, trying to stir up a little bit of confusion for the new quarterback of the Denver Sharks. That's Mr. Ruiz, number 11. So he hands it off to the running back, and the Nightmare are all over him. They're wearing him like a cheap suit. Might need to go over to the men's warehouse. Get a suit. Get it tailored up. Let's just change clothes and go. Austin Ruiz is the new starting quarterback for the second half of the Denver Sharks, taking over from Mr. Jawan McFly. Coaching staff maybe thinks that a little bit of a change might be what the team needs. Speaking of which, Marcus Crowder, number 21, the wide receiver for the Denver Sharks, is back in the game after taking a big hit from Matt Olson. Dakota Boyd is on the other side, ready for the funk. Ruiz hands it off to the big fullback, and he gets nothing. And oh, my. And number 31 just got ate up by the offensive lineman of the Denver Sharks. Whoa, that man or a wall or whatever you want to call him. Whoa, that's a big dude. Number 55 of the Denver Sharks just sat down Donovan Suman, put him on his pockets, made him think about his life and call Jesus. Nightmare get a real fast jump, and they bring him down. Third down, no yards, and it's 4, and he loses 2 yards actually as he's sacked behind the line of scrimmage, and that's going to bring up about a 4th and 18 for the Sharks. So they got nothing going on that play after getting the break and the turnover by Keeling. And now Keeling set to get the ball back after making that turnover. It didn't happen to cost him anything. So he gets the ball back and his team gets ready to come back out. The offense is like, hey, let's do right with it this time. We got them where we want them. Sharks are like, no way, Jose. And I don't see anybody back to punt for the Sharks. Ruiz is still on the field. As the announcer, Nasty Be Thy Name, would say, Lions, Tigers, and Bears, oh my. Sharks are betting on themselves right here, and they're gambling. And that's a delay of game going against the Sharks. I don't know if they thought that they had at least 2 minutes to get their next playoff and decide what they want to do, but that's going to cost them. And to no avail, this time around, they will punt. And maybe they actually took the 5-yard penalty just to get their punter some space so he can let it rip.
Yeah, we saw the same thing earlier in the game where they took the penalty and it gave them a little more room. So maybe that's their strategy again.
It's a good strategy nonetheless, man. I can't knock them for it.
White Hat, the booth is asking for the time on the field.
And so we are at 10:45 and running in the third quarter. And 4th and 20. And the punt is up. It bounces and it's out around the 22-yard line of the NoCo Nightmare. And the Sharks are having a little bit of a confusion on their team as far as personnel and who's supposed to be out there and who isn't. And you would think if you're the Denver Sharks, you're still in this game. There's no reason to get discombobulated just yet.
Yeah, especially after that interception. It made it seem like the game was a little closer than we
anticipated.
Anticipating it, yes.
Facts. And here we go. 1st and 10 for the Nightmare from the 23-yard line. Sharks are crowding the line of scrimmage. Keeling's dropped back to pass. He completes it to number 14 of the of the Northern Colorado Nightmare. And now they're just saying, "Hey, look, we're better than them. We're going to do what we do best. Drop back to pass and let it rip." Matt Ritchie with the catch from Matt Keeling. Matt Keeling's got the pink accents on the socks and the pink shoestrings, supporting breast cancer awareness. The cornerback for the Denver Sharks is up in his face, making him work. Keeling drops back to pass. He gets it out to the flat. Number 13 has nowhere to go. He makes a tipsy turn and still isn't tackled. Feeling like he's the man out there. And that's Quintavious and then Quintavious Styles at number 13. So Octavius Styles is number 1, and Quintavious Styles is number 13, the wide receiver from Albany, Georgia. So you know what? You know what that means, folks. This is a family affair all over again. 2 sets of families on the field at once for the NoCo Nightmare. That's something you rarely see. A father and dad tandem and a brother and brother tandem and 2 brothers out there. That's ill. Keeping it in the family is what the Nightmare do best. And so it is 3rd and 7 yards to go for the Northern Colorado Nightmare, with our score sitting at 7-13. Nightmare ahead. 8 minutes and 35 seconds and counting in the 3rd quarter. Keeling drops back to pass. He gets it to Rankin. Rankin slips through before he's brought down. And I don't know if Anthony Rankin would have taken that one the distance if he would have got out of there in the all-white everything. Ooh, somewhat drippy. I mess with you, Ranks, but we've been battling for a long time, dog. Who's fresher? Whose cleats look better? You know how it rocks. But we got a timeout in the action right now. Whose gloves match better? You know how we do. And the Sharks are going to take a timeout to get themselves together. And so we'll step aside here as well on ColoradoSports.TV, and we'll be right back after the break. Folks, and we're back here at ColoradoSports.TV. I'm Sean Boyd. Here in the 3rd quarter, 7 minutes and 58 seconds left. I'm joined alongside Hunter Fillmore, the man, the myth, and legend from up north. And it's 7-13, Nightmare lead. As he fakes the handoff, that's Keeling. Gets around the corner, and he stiff-arms somebody of the Sharks.
As the quarterback looks to keep it and throws an absolute stiffy.
Somebody got baby down there for the Sharks, and I can't get his number. And I don't think he wants me to have his number because we're going to talk about it.
Really seems like this Nightmare team's just been more physical than that Sharks team with all the hits they've had on that defensive side. And now you're looking at the offensive side where they're putting their head down and running through them.
Hey, man, I told you about the physicality of these Nightmare when we opened the game, man. The Nightmare are going to bring their hard hat, their lunch pails, and they're going to get after it. They've always been that way since they started in existence. And once one of my favorite coaches, Scott Culligan, went over to the Northern Colorado Nightmare, I knew he would bring a lot of that Pittsburgh Steeler grittiness to that team. And that seems to be what they play with. You know, the Nightmare literally play with a chip on their shoulder every time they come out, and I don't know what the chip is, but because they're a pretty decent team. But I guess you have to stay hungry in order to chase it, right? So that brings us to 3rd and 4. 7 minutes and 20 seconds left. Still the score 7-13. The fans in the stands are still here. Slash is still here with the whole family. And he gets it out, but Keeling almost throws an interception. Bama was in the area with a fashion faux pas, wearing white cleats with black socks. Don't do that, but the guy is a baller. I give him that. He can punt return. He can play defense, and he's down here in Denver now playing offense. This guy traveled out from Pueblo. I think he was actually one of the stars at Colorado State Pueblo University some years back. And we had some fireworks over in the corner Oh, it's going down the night, folks. Here we go. 4th and 4, and the Nightmare are getting ready to punt it. And he gets it up. Pause. And it dies out around the 20-yard line, and the Sharks will go back out onto the field with their offense led by, is it Ruiz or is it Smoke? Or is it Smoke and Ruiz? Well, folks, I'll tell you, it's Austin Ruiz who comes back out for the second drive of the second half for the Denver Sharks. What I like about the Sharks is they feel like they're not getting the production from their main stars, so they change out a couple of guys and get a couple of other guys into the game. Give them an opportunity to put their best display on in front of their family and friends and everybody tuned in to ColoradoSports.TV. Gotta love that, folks. Marcus Carter's down at the bottom. He's lined up with Octavius Styles. Guys had a big-time game today. Styles is out there in all white everything. And a little bit of a cover 3 technique because he's bailing at the snap of the ball. And there's nowhere to go for that running back of the Sharks. That Nightmare defense is up in there giving him all types of problems.
Tackle by number 5.
And Trent Fahrenbrook is right up in the middle of everything, wearing guys out like a cheap dress. So we've had a cheap skirt, we've had a cheap shirt, we've had a cheap sweater, and we've had a cheap suit. That's how much these teams have been wearing on each other tonight. Big-time hits by both teams. The Denver Sharks are being a little bit more finesse with it. But I can tell you one thing about those black hats of the Nightmare. They ain't playing around this evening, folks. It's been hard hits all over the place. They've been scooping and slamming guys. And they got that cowbell ringing again. It's in my ear. 2nd and 7. Ruiz has a guy in the flats, and it's almost picked off. Dakota Boyd laid out for it, but to no avail. It fell harmlessly to the turf, and that's 3rd down and 8 for the Denver Sharks. 6 minutes and 7 seconds left in the third. Still our score sits at 7 for the Sharks, 13 for the Nightmare. And you can see the Sharks still coaching each other up on the sideline, still trying to find their way. Ruiz is back to pass. He's surveying the field, scouring it. He's almost down. Oh, he's got a guy wide open. And that's Trav Greer. You can't miss a guy that big wearing number 1. He's all types of open. Hopefully he sticks with it. I know he can, as wide receivers, we can get a little frustrated with not being seen in the proper time. But give his guy Austin Ruiz credit for keeping that play alive and almost finding somebody downfield. Nightmare defense was just all over him. And so to punt it. And the kick is up. It's a good punt. Styles gets up underneath it and gets route to about the 47-yard line, and he is hobbled. So let's see if Styles can bounce back real quick, because looks like he's a little bit disabled at the second.
The Sharks look to their defense to make another.
And the Sharks, they have another opportunity to make the Nightmare turn it over. The Nightmare offense has not gotten in the end zone all night tonight, Hunter.
Yeah, it's been strange how it's been such a defensive game for them, yet they've been able to move down the field with some passing and running, but They haven't gotten in the end zone on the offensive end, and it looks like somebody's down.
And that's, again, that is Styles. That is Styles from the Northern Colorado Nightmare that's down on the play. And here we sit as we wait to see what's going on with him. And looks like he's trying to soldier it out. That guy's an animal. He picked himself up off the ground and said, you know what? I'm not done yet. And we still have more fireworks as the game is popping. Kneeling gives it off to Foxworth. And the Sharks defense yet again comes up big and gets the stop. Folks, if you're just tuning in live, ColoradoSports.TV, I'm Sean Boyd, joined alongside Hunter Fillmore. Still, as we sit at the game of the week here in the CFC football conference, it's 7-13 as the Nightmare lead. To recap, just so far, the Nightmare have 2 pick sixes, 3 interceptions. To note, Jawan McFly has a touchdown that he scored with Travis Greer, the big dog. And the Northern Colorado Nightmare offense has not gotten into the end zone just yet as Kneeling drops back to pass. He swings it out, but it's too high for the wide receiver, and it falls harmlessly to the turf.
Too high, incomplete.
And it's incomplete. So that brings up 3rd and 8 on the play. Now here it is. The Sharks, they have only had 1 offensive touchdown in this game as they have 7 points. The Nightmare had 13 points as they have scored 2 pick sixes, one by Matt Olson, the other one by Octavius Styles. He went to the end zone with style as Jawan McFly just kind of let one fly right into his hands, and he took it the distance in all white, that is. Thank you for tuning in to me here as we're on ColoradoSports.TV for tonight's matchup. Kneeling drops back to pass. He's looking left. He has a man wide open, and it's completed. So, as the game goes on, we'll tune in and we'll be right back.
And the Sharks defense looks to make an adjustment.
And the catch was made by number 10, Anthony Casper. And so here we go. Nightmare are on the move. Kneeling keeps the handoff, and he's swallowed up, brought down Xavier Galligan, and then he gives up the penalty for the extra. All he had to do was just let the guy go, but the little bit extra is what the referee sees, and it's going to cost the Sharks. That's another 15-yard penalty, Hunter.
Yeah, it looks like the Sharks have been struggling with that penalty. They've been jumping off sides, haven't been disciplined.
The back and forth.
Extra stuff.
Yeah, the extra stuff is going to cost them.
The play.
And that's it. And you know what? I like the passion that Xavier Galligan plays with. But as a CFC veteran and the guy I respect, he's got to be a lot smarter than that if he wants to be able to lead this team and then show the younger guys how it's done.
Yeah, and you think this team is only less than a touchdown and an extra point.
They're right there.
They're just got to stay composed and
they're right
keep
there.
Your head in the game.
Xavier Galligan is my man in 100 grand, but I need him to show better for these kids out here. Facts. And here we go with 3 minutes and 11 seconds left. Still, the score sits at 7-13. Nightmare lead. 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. He gives it off to Foxworth. He finds a hole, and he just bangs it forward.
Tough run up the middle.
right up the middle, and he gets at least 8-9 yards before he's brought down on the carry, and that's Autry Baskin, the running back from Fort Collins, Colorado. Previously, with the Lovin' Elite, the 5'8", 200-pound running back, just gets behind his pads and lets the Sharks have it.
NoCo looks to power it in right here and go up 20.
And the Northern Colorado Nightmare, they're on the move. Hands it off to Autry again. Baskin gets what he can.
Tackle on the play, 33.
And Tyler Brown is making the play, banging guys up, doing what he's been doing. Another CFC veteran. Dude's been wearing the same stocking cap since 2010. I'm going to talk about it. It's like Tommy Hilfiger or FUBU or something like that. I don't know. Look, TB, get a new stocking cap for underneath your helmet. Stop playing with me. And so let's see. Keeling has the play. And you hear the Shark music getting these guys pumped up defensively so they can make a play. It's 2nd and 14. Keeling's back to pass. He's looking deep. He's got Rankin. Oh! And all Anthony Rankin had to do is stretch his hands out or maybe even sell out, get that white uniform dirty, and he's celebrating. Another CFC veteran that I got to coach from the booth. And he ain't going to like that when he hears that, but that's all love, though, Rankin. You know what it is. I'll rock with you.
Looks pretty accurate from right here.
That was a great pass by Keeling. He needs to see his wide receiver go out and make him look good. Still, with 1 minute and 39 seconds left, it's 3rd and 14. Score 7-13. Nightmare. And still, we got fans in the crowds. It's still big time as people from Northern Colorado came down to Aurora to watch the game. And this one's going to go against the Sharks again.
Nope.
Against the Nightmare again. I apologize. And it's going to back them up to about a 3rd and 20. And things are going to get a little crazier for that Nightmare offense. But that gives them more room to probably drop back and let it rip.
Yeah, like they did on that last play. They went deep, trying to hit the receiver in the end zone, back corner.
It was a good pass, man. Rankin's got to come up with that. When he was with the Wolfpack, he would have came up with that. It's a fact. 2 wide receivers to the right and 1 to the left. That's Anthony Rankin. And gets the Sharks to jump offside with another one of those Aaron Rodgers fake counts. And somebody's going to get hurt out there if we don't get this play wrapped up. But it's going for naught. And then look at that.
And he fumbled and is completely suplexed by number 10.
Number 10 with the scoop up. And this is what I'm talking about. Anthony Casper at 5'11", 175. Kid went to Mesa Community College. Is out there big babying dudes. The physicality in which the Nightmare are playing with is uncanny. They cannot be matched by the Sharks at all.
Yeah, not at all. This Nightmare team, like we've talked about, they've been physical on defense is how it started, and now they're being physical on offense. And it's,
the wide receivers are making Royal Rumble body slams. Give me a break.
but it is more that after the whistle play, which neither team wants to look for.
Yeah, but in any case, they found it, and then we found flags. And I'm pretty sure they're both going to go against the defense. Defense is offsides. And then we have an unnecessary roughness against the defense as well. See, and so that meaningless play cost them more than the 5 yards that they would have gotten less. You understand what I'm saying? That free play turned into them now giving up almost essentially a first down. And that's going to bring the ball to about the and then Nate,
Another sideline.
and then the coach, Nate, gets a flag for talking too spicy to the referee, to the side judge, and he doesn't like it. Too much picante over there, Coach Nate. And our line judge, Keith Clemens is going to let you know about it with a penalty. And now another penalty, which essentially wasn't going to necessarily wipe out the yardage.
Even with all the mistakes and the penalties, the Denver Sharks defense will come away with this game.
And we've got a little bit of break-up in the action, trying to keep everybody together. The Sharks are trying to keep their best composure.
Or will they?
The water bottles are splashing. Folks, I apologize if I don't have necessarily what's going on right now because I just don't understand it. It's not. So it's the end of the quarter.
Sides of the field.
When was it the end of the quarter?
Yeah, it was never signaled with all the
melee
penalties and everything.
Oh, folks, I'm so confused. But we switch ends of the field.
And we're now into the fourth.
And we are into the fourth quarter. Teams are holding up their fours like they usually do, but nobody really knows it's the fourth quarter yet. So we continue on. And it is 1st and goal for the Nightmare, where essentially this touchdown here will be the backbreaker for the Denver Sharks because they can't seem to get anything else going.
And that offense has been struggling.
And everything else has not been going their way. So here we go. And Keeling just keeps it, and he's just going to rock it up the middle. And you see, here goes where the game gets a little bit chippy. Penalties, 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 penalties has been the Achilles heel for the Denver Sharks this evening. A bevy of penalties and turnovers have resulted in them being down 6 points. And as we start the fourth quarter with 14 minutes and 22 seconds left, it's 2nd and goal for the Northern Colorado Nightmare, putting pressure on the Denver Sharks. And he gives it up the middle, but the Sharks are there. And that's a touchdown. Nightmare.
Nightmare as he fights up the middle for the touchdown.
And if I could see the running back in which who had the ball.
The Cows are coming home. Move, baby, move.
Number 28, Autry Baskins, is celebrating with his team after the 2-yard run right up the middle. And, folks, I'm not going to lie to you. That might be all she wrote. I've seen corkier things happen, and so we don't want to count the Sharks out just yet.
good.
The kick is good, and we'll wait for the call from the referee.
And starting the fourth quarter, the score looks to be 20.
And we're going to wait for the call here. See what we got. As the white hat and the rest of the refs, umps get together, talk it out, sort out the business. It's a false start by the NoCo Nightmare. And we're going to attempt the extra point one more again. Snap is down, the kick is up, and it looked to be no good. And so that's 2 failed extra points by Matt Keeling, doubling as the kicker and quarterback. Extra point attempt. He's everybody tonight. He's the extra point kicker. He's the kickoff kicker and the quarterback. He's all over the place tonight, folks. And it looks like the Northern Colorado Nightmare are putting out some of their best players to even go cover the kick on kickoff, which has to vote well for them because they're getting their best players out on the field at once to make all the plays. And when you're on the road looking to secure a win against a very good team in their house, you need your best players on the field at all times. And that's exactly what the Nightmare are delivering. Chris Swift, wide receiver from Casper, Wyoming, formerly a part of the Northern Colorado Wolfpack, is out there with the pink everything. Ball's fielded cleanly. And he's got room. Oh, he runs over somebody.
As he is absolutely ran.
Number 34, Patrick Ramirez, got himself a little bit more than he asked for. Got bulldozed by the runner of the Sharks, number 40. Number 48.
First down for the Sharks at the 40.
I want to say that's DeHaven Demina.
See if their offense can't get them into this game.
And that is, folks, DeHaven Demina on the run. 13 minutes and 42 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Our score is 19-7. Nightmare. Sharks come out. Ruiz is in at quarterback yet again. 2 wide receivers to the right and the left. The game is on the line for them. Still time, but it's getting tight. Oh, he gets a low snap. He's looking for something. And he is brought down on the play.
Quarterback looks to take off from, and it's a solid tackle once again by number 24.
Number 24 of the Nightmare is
He's made solo tackles all game.
Dakota Boyd. Dakota Boyd, you're all over the place, son. When you see this, your brother from 2 families over, Sean Boyd, said so.
Or maybe 26. I don't know. It's a lot of picks today.
First and 20 after the penalty. And Ruiz can't get it out to his man in the flats.
Play doomed from the beginning. Horrible snap.
And that play was doomed from the beginning. Nasty by name, be thy name. That's a whole fact. the play was doomed as it went to the turf, and Austin Ruiz did the best he could and tried to get something out of it, but he paid for it. The wide receiver didn't have anything there because it just went straight to the dirt, and so that brings up 2nd and forever. And so the Nightmare crowd is cheering for another defensive stop. And then Crowder comes up big. Stopped on the play by number 2 of the Nightmare is Jamie Adams, but not after a big-time throw and catch from Marcus Crowder and Austin Ruiz. So it's about 3rd and 7 here after the big-time play. Keeps their drive in hope. Cornerbacks are played off pretty deep, giving a lot of space to anything underneath. Pressure comes, and he's open. Greer. He mosses him up, and he's out of there. Oh, my gosh. Touchdown, Travis Greer. What a play. They are back in this game as the Denver Sharks have put some points on the board, and what a big-time play by the wide receiver, and I've been saying it all game. You get this kid a ball and watch him work. His family is down in the stands. His brother Slash has got the baby in his hands. He's celebrating. Chill out with that youngin' in your hand, Slash. I see you showing your bro love. Oh, my gosh. Now, Trav Greer has the fans on their feet. They're loving what they just seen. And, oh, my gosh, the big-time wide receiver wears number 1 for a reason. What a pass from Austin Ruiz. It's looking like it's that type of a game all of a sudden.
It's another one of those big plays where the receiver catches the ball and they run it down the field and make a move. And it's another one of those plays that we've seen in the past with this team, and now they're back in the game.
And they're back in it yet again. What a call. Oh, it's blocked. And it's getting ready to go the other way, folks. The big fella's trying to get out of there, but they bring him down. And that's going to bring our score to 13-6, 13-19. 12 minutes and 47 seconds left in the 4th quarter, and we're cooking with fish grease here at Aurora Public School Stadium, folks. Oh, my gosh.
That's what I like to see. The big fellas running the ball, baby.
Trav Greer with a big-time catch and a big-time run after the catch. We call that yak in the wide receiver room. Pass the Henny to me, Trav Greer. Because Shine So Hard sips a lot of the Henny. White Henny, that is. Because I stay on vacation. You should see the shirt I'm wearing tonight. Oh, my gosh. And that got the Sharks players with a lot more camaraderie. And all of a sudden, Trav Greer's got 2 catches. After having a little bit of a weird game, he's got 2 catches with 2 touchdowns and all types of yards to go along with it. Only thing he's missing is a side of fries and the chip dip. And his other teammates are letting him know, we appreciate the hard work that you put in. That splash play all of a sudden has the Sharks with a little bit of bounce in their feet. Don't you say, Hunter?
Yeah, it does. Like we said, they were only down by a little, and now they're even closer to where they were. They do have to make a stop on defense, though. They have to be disciplined and avoid getting all those penalties that they have in the past.
Most definitely. I mean, the penalties, the turnovers, they hurt you, and they mount up. And the more and more and more that they keep stacking up, the more and more you put yourself in a more compromising situation as a team. But this Denver Sharks team, I want to speak to their fortitude and their, resilience, as the nightmare have been wearing on them all game. The Sharks have still found their way to still be in this game, Mr. Fillmore.
Yeah, and even though there were penalties, the Sharks defense hasn't played awful. They've played really well at that first part of the game. It was their defensive front that came up. We can see if they can produce like they were in the beginning of the game.
That's a fact. And so they hit him with a squib kick and get it. Oh, it was almost recovered. But Bama is in no man's land. The ball was running right by his head, and he didn't even know that the ball was right there. He literally had a chance to recover it and be a hero for his team, but he came up short there. What a kick by the kicker of the Sharks. That was a great pooch kick.
Yeah, that was beautiful. He got it right over the second line of that return team, right where he wanted his players to get it. They had enough speed to get to the ball. They just couldn't come up with it.
Oh, he was right there. He was right there. So it's 1st and 10 for the Nightmare from the 33-yard line. 12 minutes and 40 seconds left. The score 13-19 Nightmare. He hands it off. No, he keeps it, and he is brought down on the play. Who is it? Number
Garrett.
Number 41 of the Sharks, Mr. Garrett Lanham, gets in the backfield and makes a play. Gets this Sharks defense a little bit of momentum, huh? What you say, Mr. Fillmore?
Yeah, the defense is feeding off of that offensive play that they just had. It's a big play. It gets everybody excited. The defense wants to get out there, wants to get that stop, and give their offense another chance to put more points on the board.
As we come down the home stretch of this football game, folks, I appreciate you for tuning in to ColoradoSports.TV. You are tuned into a barn burner all of a sudden as the Nightmare try to hold off this Denver Sharks as they are surging. And the Denver Sharks defense is standing up when it matters most. Tyler Brown flexing, letting the people know he is still a baller. And in the middle,
And that offensive line has no answers.
the closest thing to a Ray Lewis that this CFC football conference has ever seen. Maybe an Al Wilson, Jimmy Provost, Brian Urlacher / Ray Lewis. I've never seen anything like it. Tyler Brown, when you put Jimmy Provost and Tyler Brown together, you got championships, and that's exactly what the Colorado Greyhawks had. Now he's over here with the Denver Sharks, him and Xavier Galligan getting championships for Sandman and these Denver Sharks. Running things. And then we have a jump by both sides. Riley, the veteran, Malcolm Riley, got the offensive line to jump. And now Northern Colorado is going backwards. And, folks, I tell you, Saturday Night Lights, you can feel the vibes in the air. Everybody's pushing for these Sharks to make a comeback and probably even take the lead in this game. And the Nightmare are hanging in there. They're fighting for their lives. They haven't lost a game all season, and they're trying to remain perfect. Sharks are looking to change the balance in the CFC as the Nightmare, the Sharks, and the Rage are the three perennial teams within the CFC conference. Other teams like the Pirates, the Flames, and the Eagles, they look to put their bids in as well. So we'll just see how this one ends up and shakes up the conference. Keeling's back to pass. He lets it rip, and it's complete. Anthony Rankin comes up with a big-time catch.
NoCo with a complete dot up the middle
It's a dime
for the first
by the humble Anthony Rankins.
number 3 with
It's a catch by Anthony Rankins by the absolute dime off his back foot. Matt Keeling gets it right up the middle, up the seam, and hits his guy for a 30-yard gain and gets it all the way out to about the 44-yard line. What a catch. Concentration in the whole nine. Anthony Rankin still getting it done. 8-9-year veteran. Probably even longer if he tells it. He hands it off up the middle, and he gets about a nice 3-4 yard gain, keeping the clock running, 10 minutes and counting. Our score sits at 13 Sharks, 19 Nightmare. The game is getting tight. Almost coming down to about a decimal point if you get it. And the Nightmare just figured to keep this thing on the ground and keep that clock moving.
It's interesting to see how those long passes have come into play more towards the end of this game. At the beginning, there weren't as many long passes that they've been throwing. It was more running and more short passes like screens or curls that you're seeing. But now it's those deep post routes and deep fly routes.
Deep flies, deep seams, letting the ball rip. Anthony Rankin, the lone wide receiver up at the top. Kneeling. Oh. Lets it rip, but he is stopped, and it's an incomplete pass. That was great defense by number 11. Oh, that's number 0 of the Denver Sharks, and he's giving him no yards, and that's Chance Chambers Walker, the guy with 2 last names, showing why he's a stud muffin. Travis Greer down there at the bottom on the sideline waiting for his opportunity to get back out on the field, maybe put up another touchdown.
Sharks defense looks to hold here.
Yeah, and you can hear the Sharks defense yelling, watch the ball, looking for that.
Yeah, because it's 3rd and 7, man. That hard count's coming, and I'm telling you, the Nightmare will take it any way they can get it at this point. Keeling's back to pass, all types of pressure. He's brought down on the play.
He is absolutely swallowed up once again by the Denver Sharks defense.
The Campos.
Lions, Tigers, and Bears, oh my.
DeAndre Campos getting back there and putting that pressure on. And oh my gosh, it's 4th and 8, and the Nightmare have to punt. This is the part of the game where it gets good, folks. It's getting juicy, and we appreciate you for tuning in to ColoradoSports.TV. Stay with us as we come down the home run stretch here of this barn burner, this slobber knocker, this slugfest between these two teams in the Colorado Football Conference. And they've getting pressure, and it's just a high in the sky punt. Thinking almost touched Jesus and had coffee, and it's picked up by the Blazer, Bama, and he just gets what he can before he's brought down by the Nightmare. But he made a little something happen on that play, and you got to like that. A guy like him comes out with a lot of grit, a lot of determination, and he's got a lot of fight in him. I give him that. I give him that. Football savvy. All right. Tyrell Strickland. All right, I want to see you do more, son. I want to see you be a little bit more positive, too. When you watch this video back, you understand why. Stay positive out there, my dude. Don't be out there getting negative and talking about crazy stuff. We're trying to go to work on Monday. That's a fact. Trav Greer down at the bottom in the fashion faux pas wearing the white cleats, but they're gold with the black spandex. I don't know, y'all. Ruiz is back in the pistol formation, one running back behind him. He's looking to pass, looking for somebody open, but he's just going to take off and run and get what he can. And he gets a first down before he goes out of bounds. Watch the young guy run. No kin to the new heavyweight champion of the world, Andy Ruiz, but Austin Ruiz gets a first down and keeps this thing moving. Now, what if the backup quarterback, Austin Ruiz, he did not get the first down. He went out after about a 7-yard gain. So it's 2nd and 3, 6 minutes and 24 seconds left. Our score, 13 Sharks, 19 Nightmare. Ruiz hands it off. The running back slips through a couple of would-be tackles and gets a first down. And that's DeHeaven on the run.
Out here running strong.
And this guy's been running strong all game, so let's just give him the ball a little bit more and see what he can do. Missing in action is Justin Depew, another longevity running back in the CFC. 1st and 10, 6 minutes left. Ruiz is back to pass. He's looking, and he almost gets it intercepted by number 6 of the Nightmare defense. Austin Hasler drops the church's money, and he didn't want it. that was for sure to go the other direction and probably for 6. Wouldn't you say, Austin?
Yeah,
Hunter?
That's a scary play there. As we've seen in the at the beginning of this game, there were 2 interceptions that went for 6, and seeing that flash through the quarterback's eyes again is just not
Yikes.
not what you want to see right now.
Yikes. 2nd and 10. 5 minutes and 55 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Sharks trailing. He gives it off to, oh, no. Ruiz still has it. And he gets tackled by, and it's a solid tackle. Austin Hasler comes back after dropping the pick, makes a good play, has to come out because he's a little bit hampered after the big-time tackle. Ruiz is still in the game. Let's see what they have as far as a play call to get them into the end zone. Game's getting tight. 5 minutes and counting. DeHaven Demina on the last carry. Oh, what a big-time sack on the play. Number 47 crushes. Jess Duenas crushes Ruiz. And he looks like his shoulder he might have got the Tony Romo treatment. Oh, no. And he's down on the play, collarbone, shoulder, one of the two, and they don't. And their backup quarterback is not even ready to go yet. Juwan Smoke McFly is not even prepared to go back into this game. And this, folks, is late developing news, and it doesn't look like Smoke is gonna go back into this game, and they're gonna have to find another quarterback to get them in the end zone here. Oh, folks, this could be bad for the Sharks. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And right now, folks, we got a little bit of an ugly for the Denver Sharks.
Okay, we hear you. I done told them. They working on it. They working on it. Ain't nothing I can do.
And there's 3 minutes and 53 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Y'all not having enough time.
And we had to get the timeout because for the injury. And coming into the game at wide receiver now is, oh no, it is a punt. 4th and 11. And they're going to punt it back with 3 minutes. What do you say there? Well, I mean, their defense may not be able to get the stop, so I guess you have to punt it and hope that the Nightmare don't really, get a first down because essentially.
Yeah, you would hope for a 3 and out and just a quick series for your defense.
Well, the punt is up, and that's a good one. And he receives it and takes it as Octavius Styles looking to break out of that. And the Sharks corral him. Not after he goes down with a big-time fight there.
But you would think that McFly would want to get back in this game if he had the chance to and prove himself after the struggle that he had in the first part of the game.
I'm not going to lie to you. At this point, McFly's confidence is a little shot just because of being pulled from the game. And when you Are a starting quarterback psychologically, a guy can only – you can't play with his psychology like that. You know what I mean? His psyche can only take so much criticism in-game. Like in practice, you pull me, okay, I can deal with that. But when you pull a quarterback during the game, all of a sudden, if he has to be thrusted back into the starting lineup, he's not going to be the same player he once was starting off the game. And so I'm watching him warm up now. Hopefully he gets another shot back with the ball as the Nightmare just looked to salt the clock. Sharks still have all 3 of their timeouts here, so we'll see if they can get in one more stop left in this defense and get the ball back to their offense for one last gasp and try for a touchdown and essentially the game winner. And you hear the defensive chant from the crowd. 2nd and 9. Handoff up the middle. Goes for about 1 yard. But the Sharks defense is there in bunches. Running back is the big guy, Baskin. And we've got a timeout. So, folks, we'll step aside for just a moment, and we'll be right back after the break here on ColoradoSports.TV. And, folks, we are back for the conclusion of this matchup between the Denver Sharks and the Northern Colorado Nightmare. Northern Colorado Nightmare are at 3rd down and 7 from inside the 20. Their 20. Oh, he gets a guy out into the flats, and it's Anthony Rankins once again with a big-time catch. And what a catch and throw, what a throw and catch by Matt Keeling and Anthony Rankin. That, folks, might have been enough to put this one away. Holy moly, what a catch and throw. Anthony Rankin getting it done when the game matters the most. The pro.
Showing great poise.
So we've got a little bit of a break in the action. Number 29 of the Denver Sharks is very displeased. And I think it might be due to some of the foul language that's being put out there. But that's okay. Just a little bit of a score update as we come down to the 2-minute warning here in the 4th. The Greyhawks had a 49-point blowout over the Denver Pirates today. Looks like if I could get the Flames and Outlaw game, I might be able to say the score there as well.
Longest 2-minute warning.
But we have a timeout by the Nightmare. And so we are going to step aside for just a moment. Folks, we'll be right back after this break. to football after the 2-minute warning and after the timeout by the Nightmare. Anthony Rankins on 1st and 10 after he just made a big-time catch. And the Nightmare are going to take a knee. Oh, so as it stands, the Sharks are out of timeouts. So that's the game, folks.
They're currently out of timeouts, and there's a minute 34 and counting down on the clock.
So, folks, if you are still listening and watching us here on ColoradoSports.TV on the live stream, this one is going to go to the Nightmare. The visitors. And because of the penalties that the Sharks suffered, that's going to be enough. Handshakes are going out. And this score is going to end at 19-13. Nightmare ahead. We're not done yet. Still got a couple more plays to run here. And they play the Lil Nas, Old Country Town Road, whatever the heck the name of the song is that everybody's listening to and playing. And we've got a little bit of extracurricular activity between the Sharks and the Nightmare, much to be expected as these two teams left it all out there on the field this night. But that's going to do it, and that's the game. Folks, we appreciate you for tuning in to tonight's matchup between the Denver Sharks and the Northern Colorado Nightmare. We appreciate you from ColoradoSports.TV. On behalf of Hunter Fillmore, I'm Sean Boyd, and thank you and good night.